Behind Rebel Lines, Chapter 33. Susan took me back to see Dr. Graham so he could explain. He did not re-examine my foot. We sat in his office, all three of us, and he talked and I listened. First of all, he said, understand that we can't proceed without your mother's permission. At this point, it would have to be considered elective surgery, and that's why we've been waiting for her approval. He glanced up at Susan. You haven't gotten it? She shook her head. Well, I have been reading up on the procedure, Dr. Graham said. It wouldn't be me who would do the surgery. We'd have to send you to a specialist. I've written to one that I think would be best. He does say that you won't ever have a normal foot. Please understand that. You could have if treatment had started early enough, but you can't now. You won't get a normally functioning ankle. But we could hope for a foot that looked normally positioned, that you could walk on with the plantar surface down. He looked at me and added, that means the bottom. What should be the bottom of your foot would be the part touching the ground. I thought about this. Would it hurt? I asked. You would be sleeping during the surgery, he said. We would give you special medicine to make you stay asleep, and you wouldn't feel anything then. Afterward, yes, it would probably hurt. You'd need to stay in the hospital for quite a long time, too. Probably several months. Your foot would be kept in plaster casts. Would I be able to wear shoes? His eyes smiled, even though his mouth did not. Yes, he said, when everything was healed, you would. I thought of something else. Who pays for it? I asked. It cost a pile of money to stay in hospital. Susan and the doctor exchanged glances. We'll deal with that problem when we come to it, Dr. Graham said. I'm sure there are charities we could get involved. Susan and I walked home silently through the blustery, freezing wind. What are you thinking? She finally asked. He said if I'd started treatment early, I could have had a normal foot. Yes, Susan said. Most babies born with club feet have them fixed right away. All the way fixed? Susan put her hand on my shoulder. Yes, all the way. I could have always lived outside the one room. I could have been like Jamie, running fast. I said, I thought you kept writing to Ma'am because you wanted to get rid of us. Susan said, no wonder you were angry. I felt fragile, not the way I had when I'd exploded on Christmas Eve, but the way I'd felt the next morning, when the only thing that kept me together was Jamie's smile. Jamie's and Susan's smiles. At home, I sat at the table while Susan put the kettle on. Do you want to go ride? She asked. I shook my head. I drank the tea she put in front of me. I pulled my pleat over my shoulder and studied the blue ribbon at the end of it. Then I pulled off the slipper shoe Susan had made and pulled off my stocking and looked at my foot. The awkward U-shaped ankle. The tiny toes that curled up, not down. The rough calluses where my skin had torn open and then healed over and over again. Susan said, it's not your fault. I said, I always thought it was. I thought I'd done something wrong. I know, Susan said. It's disgusting, I said. Susan said, I never thought so. I searched her face to see if it was a lie. She looked at me steadily. She said, if you feel very angry, go outside and throw something. I didn't feel angry. I felt sad. So sad I could get lost in the sadness. But when I finished my tea, I got out paper and a pencil, and in my very best handwriting, wrote a letter. Dear Ma'am, it said, please let them fix me.